We are going in depth into today's shocking testimony as the Crystal Rogers trial is now entering its final stages before a long holiday weekend.
For the first time, we are hearing what was found at the home construction site where Brooks Houck was working in 2021. Women's clothing and underwear under a driveway and sidewalk, but also no DNA matching Crystal Rogers.
All of this revealed today by an expert witness for the defense. WHAS 11 News legal expert Nick Mudd is here. Of course, Nick, a defense attorney himself, but also a former prosecutor with the Violent Crimes Unit. Smart move here. What happened?
I think on its face, we're all kind of shocked. But why would the defense, of all people, why would the defense bring this out? However, when you look at it, though, in context, so my understanding is construction sites, a lot of times where concrete's poured, there will be trash stuff dumped in there just as filler to kind of lift the concrete up. I'm not a concrete layer, but that's my understanding of looking into it. Secondly, there were DNA profiles pulled from those clothes. So it wasn't like this hair we had in this car in the white Buick. There were actually DNA profiles pulled from there, and they did not match Crystal Rogers at all. She was excluded as a contributor. That means 100% excluded, could not have been her clothing.
It seems like an odd thing, though, because if I'm on the jury and I hear there was women's clothing found under this house that Brooks Houck was working on, I'm thinking that might, I've got a 3-day holiday weekend here to think about it. I might think, I wonder if that was Crystal's or her daughters that were in her car. I mean, I don't know. Do you bring that up?
I think the defense is trying to say, look, we're not hiding anything at all. We want you to see everything. And what they did with their expert today, Denny Butler, detective, a former LMPD detective, was in homicide, I think, for around 20 years. I mean, I knew him
former state representative, too.
Right. Very well respected homicide detective. I mean, he's kind of just very well known, respected. Look through the whole case. They called him to say, look, you viewed everything, and there is not a single piece of physical evidence linking Brooks Houck to this crime. Is that correct? And he said that is correct.
But why didn't the prosecution bring this up, Nick?
Well, I think it could have been a red herring. I don't know, but at the end of the day, it's not Crystal's DNA on it. It's not her DNA, and I think that the defense wanted to show, like, look, we want you to see the whole investigation. We're not hiding anything, and we want you to see that it's not even on that.
Is it a roll the dice move or tricky, though? I mean, it didn't sit well with you when you first saw this come out.
When you hear it initially, you're like, whoa, what is going on? But you and her DNA is not on there, then her being excluded as a contributor. Those are two distinctions, and I think once you understand that she was excluded, so there was DNA, and it was 100% not her DNA on it, it changes the dynamic a little bit.
Well, I could see if they were ready for it with that witness, if the prosecution had brought it up, but the fact that the prosecution didn't even bring up that clothing was found, it seems like I might skip over it if I was the defense.
I don't know what the strategy is here, but again, I think they're trying to say, we're not hiding anything at all. We're giving you 100% everything landed out there and trying to show you there is no physical incident at all linking Brooks Houck.
It's almost another thing that we've seen come out of the blue, like the statement that came out of nowhere about pulling her teeth and the hogs. I mean, that came out of nowhere, too. And then there had always been that suspicion of this after the search of 2021 because of what the FBI said, that they had found items of interest.
Right, and certainly you and I had the same question, which was, were there pigs or were there hogs on the farm? Which we learned yesterday there were pigs, but I think they were very small, kind of baby pigs or mini pigs or something. There was a photograph that was entered into evidence regarding them.
All right, as we head into next week, do you worry about a jury being out for a long holiday weekend, and then what do we expect to see play out on Monday as they start getting this case to the jury?
I do worry because, they've heard so much evidence. They've heard from like 36 witnesses. And so once you get a 3-day break and then come back and, hit the ground running again, because, I mean, they're going right into closing arguments. So, the moment they walk in, boom, defense lawyer talking, prosecutor closing, and then they get the case. So, it is a little worrisome from both sides, I think, whether you're a prosecutor or defense lawyer. Like, what if they don't remember this piece of evidence, over that weekend?
And again, the prosecution, as far as you think, they need to build that timeline if they're going to get a conviction?
I think the timeline for the prosecution, the timeline is the central thing that will tie all the evidence together if they're to make this case.
Is it possible Steve Lawson gets convicted and we see Brooks Houck and Joseph Lawson walk?
Wouldn't that be something? I mean, and that is possible. it could happen here. You have different, certain different sets of evidence presented. We had Steve Lawson's statement. That was a big deal in that case. It was a huge deal. And the prosecution took that and really used it against him. They don't really have that kind of statement here against Joseph Lawson or Brooks Houck.
Yeah, it just seems odd to me about leaving Steve Lawson out when he already admitted to tampering.
We're almost at the end of 2 full weeks.
Right.
Single biggest evidence in this case that you would say leans toward a conviction. What is
Toward a conviction is at the end of the day, when you look at the timelines with the phone and look at Brooks Houck's statement, the last person that Crystal Rogers was with was Brooks Houck. And the prosecution has to jam that down the jury and say, look, you got to look at, use your God-given common sense here.
All right, Nick Mudd, thank you very much. And once again, we've got a lot to talk about later tonight. Nick will be along with me here, along with Shay McAllister and Alexandra Goldberg, reporting from that courtroom with their very detailed notes. You can watch this tonight at 9 on the free WHAS 11 Plus app. It is a 30-minute special report as we wrap up this Thursday evening, getting ready to next week. Again, as we'll have closing arguments, and in this case goes to the jury in Bowling Green. That's tonight at 9.